Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who's new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which is going to be a super special video because this is my launch of a new series on my channel, which is called the Conquest of Kindness. And this is a section where this is going to be a playlist, and that's going to be videos where I make special videos for someone, to comfort someone, or to just to be kind, you know, to be a nice human being. So that's what we're going to do, and it's also going to be probably collaborations, not only me being kind but also others being kind to me, things like this. This is going to be the Conquest of Kindness that I'm going to start right here, right now. So the first video in this Conquest of Kindness series is a video for Nona. So Nona is a YouTuber, a fellow YouTuber, and she has been so kind to me in the comment section and just interacting a little bit like this. That is so sweet, and I think she found me through my collaboration with Sandra from My California Life. So I think that's what it is. Anyway, so Nona is going through a very hard time, and of course her channel will be linked in the description box so you can check her out. So Nona is going through a very hard time because when I'm filming this a little bit more than a week ago, one of her dogs died that she was very close to, and I personally, I'm such a dog person, like you wouldn't believe. And in this connection, I want to just also share a little bit of my experiences with dogs dying, because I had to bury 3 dogs. You know, 3 dogs died, and everything was drama. You know, of course it's drama, because dogs have that thing that they attach themselves to your heart like a child, and it's so hard to get over this. So that's why, even though I don't know Nona personally and I don't know her dog, and as you know what, Mojo was the dog's name, and there was a Great Dane, which happens to be my favorite species of dogs. Anyway, so we're gonna go into this. I'm going to do a look inspired by Mojo and by Nona, and I want to do this as a one brand look, and I'm going to do this as a get ready with me, and I'm going to do this as a story time, so just so you know. And I'm going to use my Juvia's Place palettes, and the thing is, I'm going to do like a black and white look for Mojo, because the Great Danes are usually like black and white and maybe gray in between, but I'm going to go for like black and white. And I'm going to use orange or shades of orange, because that is, I've heard other YouTubers who did also a video about Mojo to try to uplift Nona's spirits a little bit. So they said that they're using orange because Nona really likes orange. So I'm going to use shades of orange, and I also want to add a green, and I'm going to tell you about my reasons for that later. So we're going to use Juvia's Place. I think I'm going to, let me just check that this is the right palette. This is going to be the Zulu palette. I'm going to use probably this beautiful green here. I'm probably going to use this orange, and then I'm going to go also for the Festival palette, and I'm going to probably, just to create a little bit more depth with the orange, I'm going to use this dark red here. And is there anything else? Right, the white of course, and the black shimmer. White and black shimmer. So I think that's the plan, and then besides that we'll just see how it goes, and I'll share a little bit with you my experiences with dogs in my life. Okay, sweeties, to save some time, I have already placed my cut crease. I'm going to do this obviously as a cut crease because that gives me more room to work with. And this is the red that I told you about that I'm going to use just to create a little bit more depth with the oranges. So the oranges. Yeah. Alright, so I think I'm going to go straight in with this orange now from the Zulu palette, and if there is need to have a little bit more, you know what, I just changed my mind. I'm going to go back to the Festival palette, and I'm going to just take a sliver of this one, the shade of Fala, this one, and I'm just going to place that a little bit over the red. Okay, so what I wanted to tell you is, obviously I've already hinted on that there are a couple of other creators that have been doing this this kind of a video for Nona, and I'm going to try to link as many as possible in the description box down below. I'm a little bit late to the party. This tag, it's not a tag, this kind of a video has gone up I think like 2 days ago or something, and I saw this popping up everywhere, and I thought like, wow, I wish I would have known about this. I would have tried to be part of this. And then they told me that I can still do it, because you know, there are other creators who are also who couldn't like do it quickly, and that's why we can still sort of add our videos to this. So I hope this is going to be a comfort to Nona. I know by experience, and I'm going to tell you about it, how hard it is to lose a dog, and I'm so very sorry for the loss, because it is a hard thing. You know, there are people who say, come on, it's a dog, it's an animal, get over it. But I do personally feel that it is more than that, you know, especially in today's society where like dogs actually live with us, or animals that are really pets, and it's not just the dog chained outside, you know, to guard the house or something. It's so much more than that these days. So that's why it's just, you know, it's different now, and I really truly believe that it's really hard for her. So anyway, I think that's all I'm gonna do with this shade, and now I'm gonna go in full force with that other orange from the Zulu palette, this one right here, and then we'll see what we got. All right, next brush. So what I wanted to tell you about, I had 3 dogs. I never had a Great Dane. I always had smaller dogs. The biggest one was not even knee-high. So that is of course a difference right there, but I loved them nonetheless, and I had begged my dad, like for like however long I can remember, I had begged him for a dog. And then at some point I got one as a surprise, and it was just a friend of the family who just brought a puppy along by, you know, to surprise me, because we all knew that otherwise I would never have a dog. It would not happen. So anyway, it was a little black mixed breed, and it was, I think, 6 weeks old or something. It was a female, and I called her Lady. She didn't look anything like a lady. She had a beard, and she was like, I don't know. She looked really funny and not really pretty, but I loved her so much. And she was with us, I think, something like 6 years. And then there was that time when she was, how do you say that? Like when she was receptive. I don't know how to say that properly, like in animal terms. I have no idea. This is vocabulary. 1 second, I need a this one. This is what vocabulary that I really don't know. I'm just gonna take this palette. This is the Warrior palette by Juvia's Place, and I'm just gonna take this bone color to set my eyeshadow primer up here. Okay, so she was receptive, whatever the real word is, and there was a stray dog, male dog, who I guess walked by our property or something, and it was all fenced in, so that was all good, but he was so enticed by her being in that part of the year where she can like conceive, and he jumped over the fence, and that was a high fence, so he probably almost got impaled. But yeah, so we found her howling because of that dog. He was much bigger than her, and anyway, so yeah, so by the time we found them, it was all too late. We were hoping that she didn't conceive, but she did, and that was it. So we made our peace with her having puppies, and we wouldn't keep them, of course, but anyway, so she was gonna have puppies, and then as the time approached, she was of course super big, and as the time approached, she started to, you know, build a nest and all of these things, and And then at some point I was in our yard, and she was there, and I saw I saw her walking from behind, and I saw that there is a face of a puppy sticking out under her tail. And I was like, something is wrong here. Why is she walking around? I mean, she was not walking fast, but why am I not working? Wait, why? So she was looking for the right palette, sorry. She was walking around, and I was like, huh, this is wrong. I was maybe, let's say, 10 years old or something like this at that point, and but I knew enough that this is not right. So I called the vet, I think it's called vet, and my father was not very responsive to this whole drama, so I ran to my best friend's house and asked their mom to take me and Lady to the vet. So he checked her, and he said that the babies inside her were too big. And the first one that had to come out had gotten stuck in the birth channel, and he tried to take it out, and you know, to like to pull it out, and then the head ripped off. It was horrible, and I was sitting there alone with my dog, who was he had put anesthesia on her. I don't know, I'm rambling, but I really don't know how to say this right, like the right terms. I hope that you can still follow. So this is a whole lot of drama. I told you there's a lot of drama attached to my dogs dying, and so apparently the two puppies inside her had already died, and they were already deteriorating and had poisoned her whole body with like the poison that death brings. So there was nothing we could do. We had to put her down. He had tried to do a C-section then still, and there was nothing that could still be done. Everything, it was all too late already. So I remember me being so young, but I took off the collar. She had like a very nice red leather collar, and I took that off, and I said my goodbyes to her, and I know that her eyes were open, because I guess that's what happens during anesthesia. And yeah, and I was there when it happened, you know. And then he drove me home. He was nice enough, and he actually thought that I was an orphan, because I said, no, I have nobody anymore. This is how I felt, you know. I had my parents, I had my brothers and sisters, but I actually really felt like now I've lost everything. This is how much I loved this ugly little dog. Yeah, so that was the first thing where I thought, so this is it. I'm never gonna have a dog again. This is too much drama. I just can't. I just can't. So then later on in life, and you know, I've not always lived a life of a religious person. I've become religious when I was 21. So later on in life, I was maybe something like 19 or so. I was living with my boyfriend, and we were thinking of getting a dog. And there was a Labrador salesperson who sold Labradors, obviously. So we drove there one day. I think it was a Saturday or something. And we drove there, and we bought ourselves a Labrador puppy, a black, very cute, very, very cute. So we called her Montana, and she was also a female, and she was also just a couple weeks old, and she was so happy. I mean, when we chose her, she was the happiest thing ever, and love at first sight, obviously. I mean, how can you not, right? So I don't know, I think I made a mess of this part here with my eyebrows, but have to fix that later. Anyway, so that was that, and we drove home, and it was a long drive because that was pretty far away from where we lived, and so that's what we did, and everything was fine. So the second or the third day after we had picked her up, she started to get diarrhea, but bad, like really, really bad. And I don't know what it was. I mean, it was not the first dog I had, so I really don't think that it's something that we did. I don't know, maybe she picked something up when we were walking her or something, that she ate something that gave that to her, or she had the germs already within herself from the breeder. I have no idea. So she started to get diarrhea, very bad diarrhea, and if you know puppies, they dehydrate so fast. So I took her to the vet, again a different one, but anyway. And she got IV and she got all kinds of stuff that we tried and nothing helped. And after 3 days of excessive vomiting and diarrhea, we had to put her down. And that is the first time that I saw my boyfriend cry. The only time actually that I saw my boyfriend cry, because we had to take her in, take off the collar, say our goodbyes, and then stand by while she got the injection, you know. And she was a puppy. That was even worse than the first time, where I thought, wow, this lady had suffered so much, and she was lying there cut open from the C-section in front of me, and I knew there was no saving her. But this time with Montana, it was just, she was a puppy. I had her only for a couple of days and her life was over, and I really couldn't believe it. It was super hard. And yeah, so that was the second one. And then a couple years later, I had another dog. You're probably saying by now, this woman should not have dogs. She's killing all her dogs. It's not that. I mean, I've always been a very good dog mama. Mommy. I've always loved my dogs to bits and did whatever I could and spent all my money on them, honestly. You know, all my pocket money as a kid went towards my dogs. Yeah, so that was that. And then we had our third dog, and I was already older. That was, I don't know anymore where that was. Anyway, so that was a dog that was called Ari. And that was again a mixed breed. He was super cute. He was white and black and brown, and I love animals that have more than one color. Absolutely, it's just that the abundance of creation in those kinds of animals, I believe, is just absolutely amazing. So I love this little guy, and he actually lived with us for 13 years. And now I remember how that was. It was the same a little bit before I got Montana. But then I had moved out and I got Montana, and Ari and Montana were like at the same parallel time, sort of, for like 7 days, and then Montana died. Anyway, let me just carve out my cut crease and I'll be right back. Okay, here we are with a sort of cut crease. This is not my best work, but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go in with the white shade here in the Festival palette, which is called Uli. And I'm going to put that on my brush and spray my brush, and that's what it is. So that's what we'll do. And then we are going to blend it into the blue, the black shade that is also in the same palette. All right, so there was Ari. Ari was the cutest, and he was actually a very pretty dog. He was not just cute like the other ones, he was actually really pretty, and people even stopped us. Like when we were going for a walk, people stopped us to ask us about this dog because he was so pretty, you know. I love this dog, and my dad loved this dog, and my dog loved my dad. So at some point it really became apparent that this dog is not going to be really my dog, it's going to be my dad's dog, because, you know, dogs choose their alpha males, basically, right? So anyway, it worked out for me because I had to then move out anyway. I wanted to move out and, you know, live with my boyfriend back then, and then also I had to go and study. I became a nurse and all kinds of stuff, so I wasn't really much at home anymore. But I loved that dog. When I was home, I was walking him. I was really happy to be, you know, be with him. And officially, or when there was any trouble, it was still my dog, but really in real life it was my dad's dog. Anyway, yeah, so this dog was with us, as I told you, a long time. I'm pretty sure he was something like 13 years old when he had to be how do you say that, euthanized? No, does one say that? When he had to be put down. He had cancer at the end of his life, like towards maybe when he was like 10 years old. He had his first bout of cancer, and I was then already living in Israel, so I had already like left the family, sort of, and my parents had to take care of that, and they did. He had cancer on his rectum. So basically he could not do his business anymore, and they sort of had to like cut the hole open a little bit more so he could still do his business. Sorry if this is disgusting today. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm just sharing. If you don't like it, then just leave the video. I don't know. So anyway, that's what they had to do, and then he lived for another something like 3 years, which was nice. The quality of life was not so good anymore though, and you know, he had significantly slowed down, but it wasn't so bad because also my parents had slowed down, so they basically grew old together, which, you know, it's nice. So it was a nice companion, especially for my dad, because that was also his last years, you know. And yeah, so and then at some point my parents called me and they said that there is a good chance that they cannot save him this time because the cancer had come back, and it had you know, he had a huge growth there on his rectum again, and he was suffering a lot. He was howling when he was trying to do his business, and it was just really, really hard. And this dog was, you know, so they tried medicine, they tried different kinds of food, you know, whatever to make it easier for him. But at some point the doctor said there's like, we can't do anything anymore. So yeah, so then my father had to put him down. I mean, the doctor put him down, and my parents were there, and they buried him in their garden at the spot where he always sat. There was like a little hill in their garden, and he always sat there and sort of with a watchful eye looked down into the valley. And this is where they buried him because he was always there. And they also put like a flat stone there to mark the space in the, it's like it's grass, like it's a grass area. Yeah, so they put a stone flat, does that make sense? A flat stone there, just a natural stone, just to mark the space, the spot where they buried him. And because he was so long in our family, that was really, really like, we were all super attached to this dog. I mean, he slept in my bed with me, and he even accepted my husband when we then at some point came to visit. And my oldest son Akiva, we took him to Germany when he was something like 10 months old, and Ari was watching my son, you know. He was always sniffing his diapers. Anyway, so yeah, so that's what dogs do. Anyway, let's go in with the Black Shadow. I have such good memories of that dog, you know, because he was such a sweetheart. He was not smart at all, but he was very pretty, and just such a sweetheart, such a good-hearted dog, you know. So yeah, so that was that, and I'm so sorry that they had to put him down, but my parents sort of asked me for my approval because, like I said, officially it was my dog, even though, you know, I hadn't been there for years. And anyway, but and I said then, you know, as hard as it is, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You are there with him, and you have to make the decision. And of course they were also paying all the bills, so it was really their decision to make, and I do not doubt a second that it was the decision that they had to make, you know. It was my dad really suffered. He never wanted to admit that he loved that dog to bits, but because my dad was not a person who loved very openly. He was a loving person, but not like, he didn't talk about it, he didn't, you know, publicly announce it or something. So but we knew that my dad was really suffering from this loss, and I think it was also a surprise to him even that he had attached his heart so much to that little dog. Anyway, yeah, so these are my stories with my dogs, and so I think what I want to say with all this drama is that I know how it feels to lose one or two or three, and it's hard, it hurts, and it's not, you know, one shouldn't like take it like it's just a dog, because it's not. you know. Yes, it's an animal and it's not a human being, but still it's so much more, you know. I don't know how to like put this in the right words, and I don't even know if Nona is gonna like this. I'm so sorry, Nona, if I'm messing this up. You probably did not need another like stories of dogs dying, but that was the first thing that I thought that I should talk about, is my own experiences with this, because I didn't know Mojo and I didn't know Nona for like a long time. So all the other creators, they have collaborated with Nona already or whatever, you know. So I didn't do that yet. So I don't know a lot about Nona. I just know that she's super, super kind and sweet to me, and that's lovely. So that's why I really, really wanted to do that, and I just hope that with what I'm trying to say here is just that I'm here for you, and I know that it hurts, and I understand. You know, that's basically what I want to say. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah. So I think because I've been talking for so long, I'm just going to go and finish up the look, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I've done and why I've done it. Okay, so let's just do that and I'll be right back. Okay, my lovelies, this is the finished look, and I hope you like it. So let me just explain to you why I did what. Okay, so the black and the white obviously is for Mojo. The orangey shades is for Nona. And then I was thinking, because, you know, as I told you, my last dog, Ari, he was buried in the grass area. So I don't know where Mojo is buried or what happened there. But I was thinking that that would, like the green under my eyes would represent the grass, not for burial, but excuse my voice, I'm still recovering a bit from the cold. The grass would represent like the dog running free in the grass and, you know, being happy and just, you know, being a dog. So I thought that was maybe fitting. Yeah, okay, so let's just zoom out and give you a bigger picture like this, because I think that always helps to be not like super close up to get a better impression of what we did. Okay, so obviously this is not my best work concerning the cut crease. It's a little bit off and whatever, but it is what it is. I'm actually on my makeup free day today because I'm just sort of slipping this or sliding this video in to not be super, super late to do this for Nona. So, you know, that's what it is. I'm really off duty today. Anyway, so we used basically four palettes from Juvia's place. The Afrique palette I really used only for this green that I traced my lashes with on the lower lash line, and this I used for the inner corner highlight. And other than that, I think I didn't use anything from this palette. And then the Zulu palette, obviously I used the orange and the green. This is the green that I blended out the darker green with here. And then the Warrior palette, as I told you, I just used the bone color shade. This is my go-to shade for setting my eyeshadow primer if I have to. And then the Festival palette is really the main feature probably of this look, which is going to be this red to deepen the look, and also the white and the black. I think that's what we did. Yeah. So what am I saying to all of this? Dear Nona, let me turn to you. I know that you're hurting and that you're suffering and that it's hard for you right now, and I hope that you're comforted by all the kindness that is around you, with all the lovely ladies that have done videos for you and looks for you, and in remembering Mojo. And I know you have other fur babies, as you call them. I don't know if it's all dogs. I assume that it's all dogs. I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better as the time goes on, and I just hope that you're comforted and that you can like see happiness going out from this, and I hope you liked it. So let me know if you see this. Let me know in the comment section, or contact me privately if you want to on Instagram or whatever. And for all of you, if you like this video, I know it was a bit borderline today, but this is what it is. You know, life is borderline. Life always evokes emotions and extremes and situations that are not easy, because life is not smooth sailing. Let's face it, that's what life is, and that's that's what we have to deal with. And I think it would be wrong and it would be fake to fake it and to just portray a picture of everything is easy breezy. You know, it's not, because we are all faced with things that we have to deal with and that are hard and that are battles, and I think it's super, super important to be real. So that's what we did here today. All right, if anyone watched till now, then please leave your comments in the comment section down below, and if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. I would really, really love that. And besides that, I'm gonna see you here next week for my next video, and up until then, I love you so much. Big hugs to you, and go ahead and sparkle. Bye.